One of the questions I regularly get is, why am I getting add to carts but no sale? Why are people adding the items to the cart and then they are not making the complete checkout? This is a really valid question, and this is a common scenario faced by many Shopify store owners as well as WooCommerce store owners. If you are one of those, then sit tight and I will go into explaining the 14 reasons why it could be so and what you can do about it. Hi, I'm Clarice Lin, the ROI doctor who helps small businesses and online stores get more sales and customers by getting on Google and YouTube page 1. Getting many add to carts but no sales is a common scenario. You are not alone in this. If you're also struggling with getting your first sale, or you're wondering why nobody is buying from your store, I have 2 other videos. How long does it take to get the first sale, as well as why nobody is buying from your store. Many Shopify store owners, when they come to me, they tell me, oh, I have many add to carts, but they're not turning into sales, and they sound really down and very demotivated, demoralized. However, I want to highlight that actually having add to carts but no sale is considered half the battle won. Basically, we are saying that people who actually visit your website, they have some kind of intention to buy. Whether it's low or it's high, they are considering it. So it's a good sign. So it's more of the matter of how can we convince them 100% to decide to make the purchase eventually. If you're struggling with that, then you're actually in a good shape, because there are other people who are even struggling to get people to their site. Or maybe they're not getting the right people, so that's a different story altogether. But in this case, people adding to cart is a strong indicator that these are potential buyers, really potential buyers. So add to carts shows a higher intention to buy than people who have not added to cart. So that's half the battle won. And what can you do to win the other half of the battle? The 14 reasons and what you can do about it. Number 1, high additional costs. When a customer adds to cart and then they decide to go to the checkout, and then suddenly they see the entire total cost inflated by up to 20 to 30%, and then they get a huge shock and they're wondering what's happening, because they were under the impression that the price that you have stated on your product page, that's the amount that they need to pay. So they didn't expect their total cost to balloon up by up to 20%. So when they see that, then the first thing would be, okay, do I still want to buy this? Do I have the budget? Is there somewhere else which is offering a lower price? So that might put them off. Examples of additional costs: shipping costs. In some cases, if you can't standardize the rate and you do not state upfront that this is the additional amount that people need to pay, so additional shipping costs could contribute to one of the reasons, especially for international shipping. And if you are delivering locally and if you're targeting your local country, local state, local city, most of them would expect free shipping in general. If that's something that you're not factoring in, or if you're not setting the expectations up front, then this could come as a shock. One thing I would highlight is if you have competitors who are selling similar products of similar quality, you might want to check out like how they are doing it, if you're able to find like cheaper shipping costs to deliver your products, because maybe if you can lower it further or factor this cost, shipping cost, into your product itself, then this might appear to be like a sweeter deal than what other competitors are actually offering. And of course, there is this other cost as well, which is called the sales tax. In the US, there are different states which requires e-commerce companies to add on additional sales tax. So that could come in as well if it's not factored in. For example, like the UK, we have this VAT, which is value added tax, which is another 20% on top. If you're offering it as well, don't let it come as a shock in the end. You might either want to include it on the product page so people don't get a shock, or if you can factor into part of your own cost as well, then that would make your product more desirable. In Asian countries, for example, like in Singapore and Hong Kong, they have a similar tax as well, which is called GST, Goods Service Tax. So that's really common. So if that's something that's part of the total cost as well, either state it up front or if you are taking up the cost yourself, then you need to be really transparent about this entire process. Don't give your customer a shock at the checkout page, because that could be the reason why they would have changed their mind. Reason number 2, forcing your customers to create an account with your store. If your customer is not a frequent shopper and they're only buying maybe one item from your store at one go, they might be reluctant to create an account with your store. So by actually removing this process of creating a regular customer account, giving you their email address and all their personal details, if you could scrape that and allow them to do a guest checkout, facilitating the entire process, just ask for their details, their personal delivery details, or like their card or payment details, and that's it. Don't ask for too much information that the customer is not ready to provide, because these days one of the concerns that many people have is security, privacy issues, so they're reluctant to start handing over their personal details to every merchant that they're buying from. For example, if they are doing like a regular shop at a local supermarket, which they do it once per week, it would make sense for them to have a regular account, because this is something that they would do it more regularly, so they are happy to do that in some cases. Or if they are getting certain perks as a loyal customer, so that could be something people want. But there is still a group of people whom are reluctant to hand over their personal details, so don't force them. Allow them to have another option, which is to create like just a guest account, minimum amount of details needed to complete their checkout. This would highly encourage them to follow through and make their purchase. Reason number 3, lack of payment options. These days, customers are expecting more from the e-commerce merchants like yourself, instead of only being allowed to pay by, let's say, a Visa card or a MasterCard. There are people who are expecting to pay perhaps like through PayPal, or if they want to use Google Pay or Apple Pay or Samsung Pay. So there are different options, or in some cases, people are looking for installment options as well. So if you can offer more of these different options, this will increase the chances of a customer making the purchase. Okay, offering multiple payment options is something that most of the major e-commerce stores, they do that as well, and Google also encourages you to do that. If you have watched one of my previous video on using one of Google's tool, Grow My Store, on how other successful e-commerce stores are doing and how they can upgrade their store, then you can watch this other video right here. So they have also mentioned that offering more than one payment methods is one way of helping customers to make the decision to buy. One pro tip for you is, if you're offering multiple payment options, do remember to put the various visuals, like the different card symbols that you're offering. If you're offering Google Pay, remember to include all of this so people can see at a glance that what are the payment options available. List that out glaringly, so to speak, so people can actually find it out easily. Reason number 4, complicated, time-consuming checkout. Customers are ready to make their purchase on their mobile phone as well as on their desktop. Not only do you want to make the entire experience more smooth, you also want to make it easy for them, so everything is really clear and they can type in their information easily. In some cases where people can return to their cart, if you have an auto-saving function, that will greatly help them to complete their purchase more easily. If you're not sure if your checkout process is smooth and seamless, do a test checkout yourself. There are testing credit card numbers that you can use to do your testing, so you can actually test out the entire experience, or you can ask your friends or someone you're close to help with your testing process, so you know exactly the customer's experience when they're doing a checkout without you actually assuming, because sometimes the reality could be far from what you can imagine. Reason number 5, security issues. Security issues is one of the top reasons why people would abandon your website if they feel that your store is not trustworthy, especially if they haven't bought from your store before and your store doesn't have the authentic, or you are not giving off trust signals. So this might make the customer think twice when they reach the checkout page. One way to increase trust confidence is to put on or add on your site different trust factors, for example, like your website is secured and is verified, and giving them guarantees of safe checkout. Especially for customers who are using their credit card information with your store, they want to be rest assured that their credit card information will not be lost, because there are more and more issues of fraud, which is becoming more and more common. Customers want to feel confident when buying from your store. So if you're a new brand and your customers is new to your store, they are not quite sure how this works, help to give them confidence easily so they don't have to actually search around, especially during the checkout, that the entire process is really secured, offering the HTTPS and all the different security signals to show your customers that they have nothing to worry about. Buy safely. That's what you need to convey in the message during your checkout. Don't give them a reason to abandon the site because of security issues. This can be easily set up and done to provide that. Another way to display confidence to your customers is on your URL at the top. There is this little lock. Make sure it's showing up as lock to show that the connection to your site is secure and protected. Reason number 6, no return policy. Return policy helps to provide confidence to the customers, so if it's something that's not suitable for them, they would like it to be returned. Especially these days when there are more online options available from different merchants like apparel. So if they're not able to try on the size, then they might not be willing to make the purchase if it's something expensive. Because as well, there are more and more stores offering the ability to return without incurring any additional costs. So if you're selling apparel, especially, offering this option of maybe like a free return or replacement or credit of some kind to allow them to make this change, especially if it's of no fault of their own. Put this information clearly up front. Ideally, you should have a page dedicated to that. If you want to get your products listed for free on Google Shopping, having a returns and refund policy is critical to getting your Google Merchant account approved. You can check out my video over here where I explain to you what are the 6 pages you need to get your Google Merchant account approved. The link is right here. And in this case, having this returns policy, link the page clearly on each of your product page so people can see it easily, as well as on your final checkout. So if they are getting to the point where they are thinking, oh, right, so if it's not suitable, can I return it? So if you provide this information right at the end as well, so it allows them to quickly look at it. Okay, if it's not suitable, I can return it. So to them, that's like a backup plan. So then they will buy, they'll go ahead and buy, because then they will have no more reservations. They have nothing to hold them back. Help your customers to make their decision quickly by providing this returns policy page clearly. Reason number 7, poor website performance. Maybe your website is taking a long time to load, and this could put off potential customers, especially if they are on the go, and especially if there are other available options out there which are taking them a shorter time. Any site that takes longer than 3 seconds to load is going to push your customers away, according to stats. That's the expectations that most customers have these days, so you want to make sure that your website is loading quickly. If you have a Shopify site and you have added many apps, please review them and see if any of those apps are actually useful, or if all of them are useful, or if you have checked some of them is not really needed, then please remove them, disable them. Don't add on to the store loading speed. As well as your pictures and images, if you're using high resolution, that would also take a lot of time to load, especially for someone who is loading on their mobile on the go. If you can compress those pictures and make sure they are still of high quality, make sure to do that as well. Otherwise, if you haven't done that before you load up the pictures, you can download one of those Shopify apps that can compress your photos and still keep it at good quality images. If you have a WooCommerce store, review all your plugins. If there's any that is not needed anymore, please deactivate them. As well as if you have images which are of very, very large size, like for example 10 gigabyte, 10 GB, then it's of course obviously it's too big. It's not going to really load quickly for your customers who is accessing your store on their mobile. So please do remember to compress those photos to a smaller size, but still keeping a good resolution, because a good clear photo is going to convey the image of being trustworthy and being transparent. So that gives shows people the sign of quality. So please have high quality images, but at the same time, do decrease the file size to as small as possible while not compromising the quality. So these are the tips to help your store load faster. Don't let your customer abandon your store because your website is taking 10 seconds to load. Reason number 8, slow delivery and limited shipping options. So that's one of the reasons why your customers would abandon their cart, because they're expecting their product to come as soon as possible. So in some cases where if your product is more specialized and they can't find it uniquely elsewhere, they might be willing to wait, especially if it's a higher price item and you have a really high quality product. But if it's kind of a medium range product and there are other stores which can offer something similar to you, and you are offering like a 7 to 10 day delivery to the customers, it would be something that's totally unacceptable, so they might choose to abandon that. I think especially for local customers as well, if you're offering something that they can locally source it out elsewhere, you might want to have something that is between like 2 to 3 delivery day upfront for free shipping and free delivery, of course, 2 to 3 days turnaround time. And for those who want a quicker within 24 hours delivery, then you could include that as a separate option for them to pay a little bit more if it's breaking your bank. But if it's not, if you can do like a 24-hour turnaround delivery time and it's not affecting your end margins, and if you can do that, then please go ahead to do that. But remember, don't follow blindly what other bigger merchants are doing. Even though you want to have a sensible delivery time, you want to make sure that this is not going to hurt your end margins as well. So please do that wisely. Reason number 9, your store is not mobile friendly. Whether it is a Shopify store or a WooCommerce store, make sure that customers can easily browse through their products and make their purchase on their mobile phone. In the past, I would say if this happened like 10 years ago, then there are still people who are not comfortable with making purchases on their mobile. But increasingly over the years, especially for the last 2 years, where most people can't go out to make their purchase and they're at home, they are getting more and more comfortable with online shopping, online purchases, even on the mobile phone as well. Making sure that someone can actually make their purchase on their phone is equally important. If you are not sure like how many % of your shoppers are using the mobile phone or using the desktop, then you can install Google Analytics to be able to help you further. If you want to learn how to install and you would like me to do a video on that, please leave it down in the comments below. Let me know if you would like me to do a video on how to install Google Analytics tracking pixel so you can understand more about your customer's journey. Do that, understand how most of your customers are accessing your store, and you should also access your store using your mobile phone so you can understand better whether is it easy or was it difficult to view the website. In some cases where the products and all the information can be easily seen on the desktop, it might not be as visible on the mobile phone. So you want to check that out yourself. Even ask maybe your friend, and maybe you can use different mobile as well or different browsers. In some cases, some browsers might create some error when they're doing that. So make sure that people can have a great experience on their mobile, and make sure that everything is good and smooth sailing, because that's what customers of today doing online shopping are expecting. Reason number 10, not having your pricing in foreign currency. If you are a Shopify store or WooCommerce store, you are doing international shipping, you are allowing customers from different countries to be able to buy your products, then you want to put your pricing in their local currency. Let's say if you are a Shopify store in like the US and you're selling to Asia or to the UK as well, it would be extremely helpful for the customer to be able to see what's the actual cost or what's the actual total cost in their local currency. So do install a Shopify app that allows the currency to be automatically converted to their local currency. Also, if you have a WooCommerce store, make sure you have the right plugin so customers can easily see the total cost in their local currency, enabling the customers to decide quickly whether is it worth it for them to buy those products. Because sometimes the conversion cost could result in a bigger cost than expected in their local currency. So actually having that automatic calculation worked out for them, especially in the checkout itself, would help them to decide, oh yeah, okay, that looks reasonable, and just put their payment details and confirm their purchase. Of course, if you are selling only to local customers, then that's not something that you need to worry about. So this is only applicable for your e-commerce store if you are targeting international audience. Reason number 11, better pricing from other stores. Unfortunately, if your customer has actually found a better deal elsewhere for a similar product, then it's likely that even after they have added their cart, maybe they have another tab open, they're researching on another tab, and then they found something cheaper, so they decide to abandon the cart altogether. One way to eliminate customers abandoning their cart altogether is to create a good branding. What I find is when customers are able to relate to you as a company, as a brand, as your personal brand, if you have a personal brand, so people feel happy that they are supporting your store, buying something from you. So even if it's slightly more expensive, they would feel more connected and they would choose to buy from you other than someone who is offering a cheaper price. Let's say, for example, if you are offering like a better delivery experience, or you make them feel good if they buy something from your store. So that's one reason, and that's also one of the reasons, for example, like there are many Shopify stores who has built their brand around selling ethical products or sustainable products. So people who want to support environment and make it more sustainable, then these are the people who are more likely to buy from the store, even though your product is a little bit more expensive than your competitors who are not offering sustainable products. So this is one way to differentiate your store from other stores. So even though they have added your cart, they will not abandon it just because someone else is selling it for like 10% cheaper, 5 to 10% cheaper, because they want to support your store. They know that it's not easy to create products, to be selling products. They are environmentally friendly, sustainable, so they want to support your products because that's what they want to be. Or perhaps in some cases, if your store, if you're supporting certain charity causes that your customers are actually very supportive about as well, so they might actually be more inclined to buy from your store rather than from your competitor's store. So these are other ways to do that. Most of the time, I would not encourage you to reduce your prices just because your competitors are reducing the price. At the end of the day, it's not even about getting your customers to buy because your products are cheaper. At the end of the day is, are you still making money even if you reduce the price? So there's no point trying to reduce your price to the lowest, making a rush for the bottom, because that's not what you are aiming for with your Shopify store. You want to be profitable, you want to be earning money. Having a price war of some kind is not actually a long-term gain. What I would highly recommend is how you can build value around your products, making customers feel like they are part of your club, or feeling better about themselves when they support your products because you are doing some charitable causes, or actually you're helping to save the environment in some shape or form. So I'll highly recommend you to build your brand around your products, because that's going to increase your customers' loyalty over a period of time, because they're not just buying your products, they're supporting your business. If you also want to learn more about making your Shopify or WooCommerce store profitable, I have another video right here which I would strongly urge you to check it out, which is the link up here, which is how to plan for your marketing budget so you get more traffic and you get more sales and you are creating a successful and profitable business in the long run. I go into the different ways which you can market your store, the different channels and the platforms, and how much it will cost as well if you're running ads. So if you're struggling with thinking, oh, I want to get more traffic, I want to get more sales, and how much would this cost? So this will be the video I will highly urge you to watch. Reason number 12. Customers are abandoning their cart after adding to cart because they are only doing their research. About the airline industry, about 87% of the browsers abandon their cart after adding the ticket to their shopping basket. In this case, the intention of this group of shoppers, they're just doing their research and they just want to find out like what's the total cost of it. So to reduce the customers from getting a shock at the end, especially at the checkout when they look at the total cost, be upfront about all your products, about product description, be clear what's the spec of it, what's the different sizes, or what are the different prices if they want to include some form of customization, or if you want to send it as a gift, or like if there's gift wrapping, like what's the cost? So if you put that up front on the product pages so people can actually explore it as well, they get a better idea so they don't decide to abandon the cart altogether when they get to the final checkout page. And in certain cases, if you have like perhaps a longer checkout process, you're not sure which step of the checkout process that your customers have abandoned their cart, that's when I would highly recommend you to install Google Analytics, as what I've also mentioned earlier. If you install it, you can actually see, let me show you a screenshot of how this checkout process would look like. Over here, you can see this is the cart page, and you have your shipping information, you have your payment information, that's the checkout. And then you can see at which location do customers abandon or stop their purchase process. So this will be very clear to you, and then you can make your changes to your site accordingly to reduce the chances of customers abandoning their cart. Well, if you have your Shopify store right here on the left side of the navigation bar, this is where you can see the number of abandoned carts, and you can actually see the list of people who have abandoned their carts. This would also give you an idea on which are the carts that people are abandoning. Maybe this could also give you some clue on where are the areas you can improve on. When you set up your Shopify store, you don't have full visibility to when a customer would abandon the checkout process. So if you have Google Analytics installed, it will give you more information on where they drop out of their checkout process. For WooCommerce store as well, you can also install Google Analytics. It would also give you all the information you need to know where you can improve your store checkout process. Reason number 13, you don't have a coupon code feature where people can enter their code. Let's say your customer has received a gift voucher, or if they have received a discount code from somewhere and they want to use it on your store, so they can't find a place to put it. So they're a little bit frustrated because they have budgeted that discount or voucher into their purchase. So if they can't find it, so they might not want to decide to buy it after all. So they might have second thoughts about that. So if you do offer that, make sure it's visible in the checkout place so they don't go around looking for it. Make it easy for people who have discount codes to find it. And for people who don't need a code, who are not actively looking for one, don't make this feature too big so it actually distracts them from checking out and making their payment. Reason number 14, you are upselling too much unnecessarily. Once a customer reaches the final checkout, it means that they are prepared to make their payment. Stop trying to push products in their face and telling them, do you still want to buy this and this and this? There's a reason for Amazon on their checkout page is that they actually remove everything else from the page aside from checking out. So when a customer wants to check out, just provide those information that they need displayed to them to show them, okay, you want them to put in the delivery information, the payments information, and review the purchase and press confirm. That's all you want them to do. You don't want to distract them from it thinking, hey, oh, I saw something else. I want to check this out and check this out. Just get them to buy whatever they want. And if necessary, like after the confirmation page, you can upsell to them. You can redirect after they have made their purchase to another page altogether to show them maybe there are other products that they can buy, but don't distract them from the checkout process, because if you do that, it's going to put them off and it's highly distracting, so they might forget about it and then they might need to reconsider the decision. What you're doing is actually not helping you as a Shopify store owner. You're actually delaying their purchase decision. Once they've decided, help them to quickly move through the checkout and quickly make the payment. And if there are other products that you feel will be useful for them or you want to recommend to them, you can either direct them to other similar products that they have bought to the next page. So you can redirect them after payment is completed so they can see it on your screen, or in the purchase confirmation page as well. You can thank them, confirm for buying these products. Maybe these are other products you could be interested in. Just make sure that they quickly make the payment before you do any more upselling and cross-selling. If they have decided, just get them to pay. And that's it, the 14 reasons why customers add to carts but do not make the purchase. I know there are many Shopify and WooCommerce store owners who are struggling with this. This is like the next step of their challenges aside from getting more visitors to their store. These are different areas which you can go back and review your store and make those changes. If you need personalized help and you feel that all of this is just too much for you and you just want to focus on getting more sales, then check out my services page, which I'm going to put down in the description and pinned comments below. I help Shopify and WooCommerce store owners to get more sales and get more traffic, you can check out how you can work with me. If you found this video helpful for you, give it a like, subscribe to my channel, and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss future videos on how to get more sales and more customers by getting on Google and YouTube page 1. I'm Clarice Lin, the ROI Doctor, signing off. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.